Welcome to my presentation. I did my project on Yaya, which is French pop music from the 1960s. It was a very female-driven genre, and the term Yaya comes from the English expression "yaya." As I said, it was a female-driven genre, and Yaya really marked a change in the traditionalist values that people held in France at the time. And one of the earliest songs where a woman openly sings about intimacy was Fais-moi Johnny. And it was created by Boris Vian, and it was released by um, Magali Noel in 1955. The song spoke of l'amour vache, which is a rough sexual relationship, to put it delicately. It can also mean tough love. So in 1959, the radio show Salut les copains was released, and that means hi buddies. It was produced by Daniel Filipacci, and something that was really unique about this show was the fact that they used tu as opposed to the casual vous. On the radio show, they had a weekly segment called The Weekly Sweetheart, and that was really important for women trying to break into the yaya world, because if you're played on the radio, then you're pretty much guaranteed to find some sort of fame from that. On June 22nd, 1963, Salut les Copains hosted a concert attended by almost 150,000 teenagers. At the end, a group of guys came and caused some chaos. And so after that, articles were being posted about this new genre of music, and we can't believe what these teenagers are doing. And that's actually where the term yaya was coined. Sociologist Edgar Morin posted in the French daily Le Monde, and he actually, in a positive way, talked about the new music and its importance to youth. In October of 1963, the magazine version of Salut les Copains was released, and it focused on not just music in France. They also included American and British rock and roll and blues, and so it really exposed youth to a lot. Over half of the readers were young women between the ages of 14 and 20, and so in November of 1964, inspired by the magazine 17, they created Mademoiselle Âge Tendre, which means girl of a tender age, and the first editor-in-chief was 19-year-old Anne-Marie Pierre, who represented the entire staff, which was full of young people around that age. And something that was really great about this magazine, that it wasn't just full of frou-frou and girly things. It also included short stories and just things of importance. Something that Anne-Marie said, her hair done and her head full, in regards to the readers. So America was fully immersed in the British invasion, which was something that the French were very hesitant to do. France, in terms of their music, were not very open to things outside of their language. And so most times, if there was a popular song from the US or the UK, it was re-recorded in French. And so the first Ya Ya girl I'm going to be talking about is Françoise Hardy, and she actually auditioned for a recording company when she was only 18, which at the time was underage. And she created her first EP in 6 hours. Um, and then one of the four songs included Tous les garçons et les filles, and that sold more than 1,000 copies in one day. Her next single, Le Temps de l'amour, was actually featured in Wes Anderson's Moonrise. Francoise was very highly regarded by people, including Mick Jagger and David Bowie. And it was actually once said that Bob Dylan was performing in Paris and he heard that she was there, and so he stopped mid-performance and said that he wouldn't continue to play unless she agreed to come back and chat with him. Next is Brigitte Bardot, and if you know anything about French pop culture in the 50s and 60s especially, I'm sure you've heard of her. She began her career as an actress in 1952 after being on the cover of Elle magazine. And Brigitte was the face of a new era for women. She was a sex symbol. She represented just in 1967, she had the Brigitte Bardot show, and that's when she met Serge Gainsbourg, and they began their affair. He actually wrote Je t'aime, moi non plus, which means I love you, me neither, for the two of them to perform, but at the last minute she decided she didn't want the song released. And so then he re-recorded it with Jane Birkin, and she was a British-born singer and actress, and they released their re-record of the song in 1969, and it did not get very well received. It was considered so erotic that it was banned by the Vatican and by the BBC. But despite that, with the public, the song was very popular. Someone once said, it is 4 minutes and 35 seconds of groaning and love sighs, which, if you have heard it, is very true. The song was released again in 2008, the version with Brigitte Bardot, and it definitely had a spike in its popularity after that. And so we come to Serge Gainsbourg, who was very against Ya Ya, and he claimed that it was totally unoriginal, but he realized just how lucrative the genre was going to be, and so he began creating songs for different artists. He wrote the song Poupée de cire, Poupée de sang, which means wax doll, rag doll, for Luxembourg's entry to the 1965 Eurovision Song Contest, which was performed and won by French teen France Gall. So the next song that they worked together on was called Les Sucettes, and it means the lollipops. But being a very naive 17-year-old, she did not realize the very blatant sexual innuendos that the song contained. And if you actually try to look up the video to the song on YouTube, you have to be logged in and an adult to watch it. In 1964, she released the song Laisse tomber les filles, which means stop messing around with the girls. And that was featured in the 2018 film A Simple Favor. It was also covered by American artist April March in 1955, and it was released in English as well under the name Chick Habit. And that version of the song was featured in Quentin Tarantino's movie Death Proof. Last of our Yaya girls is Sylvie Vartan, and she was born in Bulgaria but moved to Paris in order to escape the communist regime. She actually opened for the Beatles in 1964. People say that once the Beatles came on, people started booing them and wanted her to come back. So, as I said, Yaya was a really important time for women and the feminist movement. But after 1968, some artists, including Sylvie, definitely went against that. So in May of 1968, there was a nationwide rebellion, which was launched by students and then turned into a workers' rebellion as well. Towards the end of May, over 10 million people in France were on strike. Um, the fight included, rights for workers and the queer community, as well as the push of the feminist movement. It really pushed patriarchal France into the modern world. And so after that, the music of Yaya started to die out. So thank you so much for listening and watching my presentation. I've included a quote from a song from Pussycat called Les temps ont changé, which means the times have changed. And it is, if boys wear long hair, we should be allowed to wear trousers and have fun. We, for once, are inviting them for a dance. The time of the housewife is over. And I feel like that just really encompasses the Yaya movement. So, yeah, thank you so much.